Hi everyone, and welcome to the second video about the heart and the circulatory system on the human biology course. Let's pick up where we left off. In the last video, we covered the following: the anatomy of the heart, the cardiac cycle, the electrical components of the heart, and then we talked about some diseases of the circulatory system such as atherosclerosis, angina, aneurysms, and thrombosis. Today, we will talk about myocardial infarctions in more detail, and we will also talk about the treatments available for coronary heart disease, the exchange of oxygen and nutrients between the cells in the blood, and the occurrence of tissue fluid and edema. As we mentioned in the last video, a myocardial infarction, or heart attack, is caused by the blockage of blood flow in the arteries. This happens when plaque accumulates in the arteries to the point where they become fully clogged and blood simply cannot pass through them. When this happens, blood stops flowing into the heart, which can severely damage it and even cause its cells to become damaged or even dead. A myocardial infarction will usually cause the following symptoms: tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, sweating, nausea, vomiting, among others. The effect that a heart attack has on the heart muscle is dependent on many factors, including the artery that was blocked to begin with, the length of time between the heart attack and the treatment, and the age and overall health of the person in question. Most of the time, it is possible to recover from a heart attack, as the heart creates scar tissue in the areas which were affected. So what can you do to treat coronary heart disease? There are a few procedures which can be performed, such as an angioplasty, a coronary bypass surgery, or the use of beta blockers. An angioplasty is a procedure in which the artery which became blocked is identified and then unblocked. This is done by inserting a tube in that artery until it reaches the blockage. The tube used has an inflatable balloon at the end of it, so when it reaches the blockage, the balloon inflates, opening up the vessel and releasing the plaque, allowing blood to flow normally again. A coronary bypass surgery is more complicated as it is more invasive and therefore only recommended for more serious cases. In this procedure, a healthy vessel is removed from the patient's leg and then used on the blocked artery. The healthy vessel is connected to the blocked artery before and after the blockage, so the blood can flow through the healthy vessel instead, bypassing the blocked section of the artery altogether. I know that sounds horrible, taking a vessel from your leg and putting it somewhere else in your body, but doctors do this procedure all the time. Other treatments include the use of blood thinners such as aspirin to increase the ease of the blood flow, and also beta blockers. This type of medication lowers the blood pressure by basically blocking other hormones such as adrenaline, so that the heart rate is stable and relaxed. This gives a chance for the heart muscle to heal faster after a heart attack. However, the biggest treatment available for the situation is a change in lifestyle. There are a lot of factors involved in the development of heart disease, such as smoking, lack of exercise, high cholesterol, and a bad diet. It is highly recommended that heart disease patients actively change their lifestyle and do more exercise, eat less fats and processed foods, eat more fruit and vegetables, and stop smoking in order to prevent further heart disease events to occur. Now let's talk about some more about the circulatory system and some of its roles. This system is responsible not only for the circulation of blood through the body, but also the circulation of nutrients, gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide, and waste products. One component of blood is hemoglobin. This is a very important protein whose function it is to bind to oxygen at the lungs and then carry that oxygen and deliver it to the cells. In this diagram, you can see how the gas exchange occurs. Blood is oxygenated in the lungs, and then it is transported through the different organs where the oxygen is delivered and carbon dioxide takes its place. When this happens, this blood goes back to the lungs to unload the carbon dioxide and to load up on oxygen again, restarting the cycle. When blood is oxygenated in the lungs, it goes in the heart to be pumped to the whole body. When this happens, the blood is pumped through arteries, which carry the oxygenated blood out of the heart. These arteries then turn into arterioles, which are smaller in size. The arterioles then connect to the capillaries, which are tiny vessels, and it is through them that the gas exchange occurs in the organs. These capillaries carry the oxygenated blood into the organs. The oxygen is unloaded there, and the capillaries then connect to the veins, which then carry the deoxygenated blood back to the heart, which then pumps it back to the lungs to be oxygenated again. These capillaries have small gaps in their walls, so fluid can be forced out of them. If you imagine, for example, a vessel the size of your finger connected to a vessel the size of a straw, and then finally connected to a vessel the size of a hair, you can imagine that that hair-like vessel will have an enormous pressure when there's liquid flowing through it, due to the reduction of the diameter. So when blood flows from arteries to arterioles and then to capillaries, that pressure forces water, glucose, oxygen, amino acids, and more to leave the capillaries into the surrounding space, providing the cells with the nutrients and oxygen they need. When all these things leave the capillaries, the pressure is significantly lowered, allowing water to go back into the capillaries after the gas exchange, as well as carbon dioxide and other waste products. These capillaries then connect to the veins, which will carry the blood, carbon dioxide, and waste product mixture back into the lungs for the blood to be oxygenated again. This fluid that leaves the capillaries is partly reabsorbed when it re-enters the capillaries after the gas exchange, with the rest of it being reabsorbed by the lymphatic system, which we will cover later on. When this fluid is not properly reabsorbed either by the capillaries or the lymphatic system, it starts gathering and forms what is called an edema. This buildup of fluid can occur due to heart failure, kidney failure, the use of certain medications, and more. This is usually not a serious issue, as it can be treated with diuretics and lifestyle changes. However, it could be an indication of other underlying health conditions such as kidney disease or heart disease. In summary, heart disease can be complicated and very serious, especially if not detected and treated early on. However, most of the conditions we have discussed are avoidable to some extent, and they are certainly manageable. Lifestyle and our environment have an enormous impact on our health, and it is important to understand this early on so we don't end up having to go through surgeries and other procedures later on in life. A balanced diet with plenty of fruit and vegetables is imperative in the maintenance of our health, alongside varied physical exercise. These are the main factors which will keep you healthy and fit. Additionally, smoking, the use of certain drugs such as cocaine and amphetamines, and the overconsumption of alcohol are all factors which can reduce your health in the long term. And that is the end of the second part of the heart videos. I know it is a complicated and long subject, but I hope I have helped you understand it a bit better, and hopefully I will see you next week for the 8th video on the human biology course. See you then!